Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, to another updated PvP tier list for the month of July 2022. Keep in mind that I do update this tier list as different metas change and or cookies are buffed. Starting us off here, you can see we've got SS tier all the way down to D, and I do have a specialty tier going to be right between S and A for situational cookies. These cookies excel in a specific composition, but outside of that team, there might be somebody that you don't really want to build. Starting us off here for SS rank, we got a handful of cookies. We've got Espresso, we've got Dark Cacao, we've got Wildberry, we got Financier, we've got Caramel Arrow, we've got Parfait, and then last but not least for our SS tier, that's going to bring us to Vampire. Now here, that Vampire and Espresso is literally being used everywhere in the overall arena, alongside with Parfait pretty much taking that #1 spot for healer for most teams, all right? So again, keep that in mind. Obviously, you can still use your cottons, your herbs, your pure vanillas, but again, this list is going to be based on the current meta and what a lot of top tier players are actually using and what you guys can build to hopefully climb up the individual ranks. Not only that, Dark Cacao, Wildberry, and Financier are going to be like the three main tanks that you're going to see on almost every single team and different team variations. Caramel Arrow here is pretty much versatile, goes on any individual team, just does insane amount of damage, and is a very good counter to some of those high burst damage dealing teams, somebody like Vampire and or Espresso. Diving into the S tier, we've got, starting us off here, we've got Frost Queen, we've got Sea Fairy, we've got Pure Vanilla Cookie, we've got Holly Berry, we've got Alphagato, we've got Sorbet Shark, we've got Pumpkin Pie, we've got Eclair. We've got the one and only Purple Yam this time. He's actually moved all the way up here to S tier. We've got Pomegranate Cookie. We've got Cotton Cookie. We've got Herb here as well on the S tier. We've got Clotted Cream. And then last but not least here we've got, and that's going to be the brand new Oyster Cookie. Now, one thing I want to mention here, and that's going to be Alphagato Cookie being ranked at a S tier, because some of you guys are going to have that question down below in the comment section. But Alphagato right now, he is a hard counter. There's a team that you can build that is a hard counter to the Vampire Espresso team utilizing Alphagato. So that's going to be the reason why, again, that he's going to be placed here on S tier. Keep in mind that these tier lists that I build every single month are going to be based on the game's current meta. And as of right now, he's definitely a very good option to build, especially going up against those popular teams. Now, just going through the S rank here, we've got, that's going to be Frost Queen and Sea Fairy, absolutely unmatched when it comes to providing crowd control and just AoE damage in general. We've got the freeze, we've got the stun. Both of them are going to be very, very good. They cause a lot of interrupts in a lot of team builds in the arena. Pure Vanilla Cookie, the HP shields are still very strong, although a lot of people are running Dark Cacao, which obviously can mitigate those shields. But again, definitely going to be somebody that's awesome, especially paired with another healer, somebody like Parfait or Cotton. Definitely a good and a really hard combination to deal with. We've got Holly Berry here, just a very good tank overall for a triple tank. If you don't have Financier or Wildberry, definitely a good option to pick up there. Alphagato, we already talked about, going to be a very good contender, or at least a counter to the Vampire Espresso comp. We've got Sorbet Shark and Pumpkin Pie, very, heavy anti-tank cookies. A lot of people are building these cookies for that specifically, or, in Pumpkin Pie's, case, you could also run Pumpkin Pie in the Summoner's comp. Again, very good against tanks. Eclair for the HP shield once again, and also weakness debuff. Definitely going to be still holding strong in the arena. Purple Yam finally came up here with the plus 10 magic, or level 10 magic candy on him. Definitely going to be a super, super, super tanky character. I'm very curious to see when people start maxing him out at a plus level 30, candy, how good he's going to be. I could honestly see Purple Yam moving up to SS rank by next season once people do actually finally unlock that plus 30. Pomegranate, the attack buff and the heal is really, really strong as well, depending on what team you are building. Cotton Cookie here, you guys already know, very good for Summoner's comp, very good for pretty much everything as a utility support here in the game. Herb here's good for the cleanse if you're going up against teams that have a lot of debuffs, which a lot of people right now are running debuff teams in the overall arena. Definitely a good option there. Clotted Cream can shut down some of those frontline tank units as well. Definitely really going to be posing a risk to some of those high tanky teams. And then last but not least, that brand new Oyster Super Epic is going to be, again, very, very good. Now, the reason why she does not go into situational, even though she is technically a summoner cookie, is going to be because she can actually be utilized on a lot of different teams, not just Summoner's comp. So she's going to be really, really good, really, really strong. Her soldiers, provide a lot of individual utility. And not only that, that pushback is insane when it comes to the arena. Now, diving into the overall situational tier, starting us off here, we've got Kumiho, obviously very good for like Kumi scam comps. Anything outside of that, though, I probably wouldn't invest too much into Kumiho. Just her skill doesn't have enough viability outside of the Kumi Scam, all right? So again, going to be somebody that to build if you are building the Kumi Scam comp. We've got T-Knight, just very similar to Kumiho here. Going to be one of those very selfish cookies. Everybody on your team has to die in order for him to really pop off, but he could be a saving grace if you have nothing else to build. We've got Almond Cookie here, just again, a very, very good utility cookie. You know, very good for different situations, but there should it be somebody you invest in overall if you had to pick? Probably not. We've got Snow Sugar here as well. Very good for the Summoners comp. Outside of that, I would not invest in Snow Sugar. And then last but not least here, we've got, that's going to be Crunchy Chip. Although Crunchy Chip is a very good, you know, cookie for PvP or PvE and very good for PvP, but he really only shines in the Summoners comp. You don't see a lot of Crunchy Chips being utilized outside of the Summoners comp. Could be done, but overall, he really, really shines with other Summoners. Diving into the A tier, we've got, starting us off, we've got Strawberry Crepe, we've got Mango, we've got Lilac Cookie, Sparkling here, we've got the Cream Puff, we've got Maddie Cookie, we got Mint Choco, and then last but not least here we've got, and that's going to be Red Velvet. Now, obviously, all of these are not going to be as good as S or even SS tier cookies, but they are all going to be very, very good in their own right, and you could absolutely use one of these to substitute for somebody on the higher tiers until you do get that higher tier cookie. So, for instance, Strawberry Crate, very, very good tank. If you do not have Holly Berry, Wild Berry, or Financier, definitely going to be one that you could easily run alongside Dark Cacao or pretty much just in general to have a tank. Mango just got a buff, has an attack buff, and does a lot of AoE, a slight knockup mechanic as well. Definitely going to be somebody to keep on your radar if you are missing out on something like, you know, Espresso or some other AoE damage dealers. We've got Lilac Cookie here, very good for the speed meta comp. Outside of that, though, it's kind of iffy. You could build him, but again, a lot of people are going to be utilizing him for the speed meta comp, and you don't see that a whole lot right now. Can absolutely still be built, still be used, but definitely going to be really tough going up against some of the current meta teams. Sparkling here, just again, a very good little support unit if you don't have the other supports higher on the list. You've got, you know, Cream Puff here. Definitely going to be very interesting to see how far Cream Puff can move. I think she could potentially move up to S tier by the end of next season, depending on how many people, you know, further ascend her level. It's really going to depend on how good she becomes at, you know, like that 5-star ascension. And a lot of people are going to be able to get that based on, you know, just collecting the heroic torches from the guild gacha. So again, definitely going to be interesting to see how far she moves up this next season. Maddie, we've got again. Maddie was very good for the quad, you know, tank composition that was running in last season. You don't see that a whole lot now, especially with Financier. Financier pretty much dropped into the game and took over Maddie's spot in the quad comp. So again, definitely going to be moving down here to A tier. We've got Mint Choco, just a really good, you know, very similar to Sparkling here, just a very good support unit if you don't have any other good supports for your team. And then last but not least, we've got Red Velvet, which, you know, his cooldown obviously got reduced, making him more viable, definitely moving up to A tier from the lower ranks now. If you're looking to build somebody that just snipes somebody from the back to the front, could be a very good option for you. Next up, we've got, that's going to be B tier. Starting us off, we've got Pastry Cookie, Raspberry Cookie, Moon Rabbit Cookie, Black Raisin, we've got Squid Ink, Twizzly Gummy, Licorice, we've got Latte, and then we've got Cherry Blossom, and last but not least, we've got, and that's going to be Cocoa. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth, obviously, with any of these B, C, or D tiers, but nevertheless, you've got Raspberry here, very good single-target damage dealer. Moon Rabbit, I've seen some insane numbers when it comes to providing healing, but again, keep in mind this list is based on the current meta in the game and what's popular and what's going on. And I just don't think Moon Rabbit carries enough weight in the overall arena to be higher than B tier. We've got Black Raisin, a very good AoE damage dealer, but dude, there's so many other, you know, better AoE damage dealers now that you could run besides Black Raisin. And pretty much Sorbet Shark at this point has just completely left Black Raisin in the dust. Squid Ink here provides a lot of AoE damage, but nothing else really, and I really hope that they do see a buff sometime soon with Squid Ink because I think he does have a lot of viability, but again, it's just pure AoE damage, and there's a lot of other cookies that have AoE damage plus other utility that's more valuable. We got Twizzly Gummy here. The only reason why you would use her would be for the HP shield diminish or the zap mechanic, but because people are running Dark Cacao, Twizzly's kind of just fallen down. We've got Licorice here. Licorice could make a comeback depending on, you know, different team composition that you're building. In the Summoners comp, maybe. But again, just there's way better options for Summoners comps, especially somebody like Oyster. Latte here, again, Espresso's just way better. Like, there would be no reason why you would want to ever use a Latte or need to until they drop a magic candy for her. We got, you know, AoE damage and a slight attack buff provided by, you know, Cherry Blossom. Very good for lower levels, but anything too crazy for the arena. And the last but not least here that we could argue that could move up to A, that would be something like Coco for that stun immunity. Not a lot of people are utilizing her currently, but could definitely be done if you happen to do it correctly and going up against certain team compositions. Alrighty, and then last but not least here, we've got for their overall tiers, we've got C and D. Starting us off here with C, we've got Tiger Lily Rye Cookie, we got Dark Choco, Poison Mushroom, we've got Mala Sauce, Sonic, and Tails. And then for D tier, we've got Milk, we've got Fig, Chili Pepper, and we've also got Werewolf. Now, obviously here, guys, when it comes to the C and D tier, I just would not invest in any of these cookies for PvP exclusively. Obviously, Dark Choco, Rye, some of these cookies are very good for world exploration or PvE content, and obviously you can build them for that. But when it comes to PvP, definitely try to stick to the SS through A tier, in my opinion. That's going to be your best investment, especially at the game's current meta. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to complete our updated PvP tier list for the month of July 2022. You guys let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you guys have any additional questions, I invite you to join our Discord. You can find that link provided down below. We would love to have you. And not only that, my DMs are always open. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Cookie Run Kingdom related, including additional updates to this PvP tier list and PvE tier list as the current meta shifts. With that being said, though, guys, as always, I'll see ya on the next one.